Hello, everybody. Welcome to Phil's Place. We're live. This is the first time I've ever done a live podcast, and I brought my great friend who introduced me to the podcast world, JT John Toth, the sole proprietor of Sportsvival.
How you
JT,
doing,
how you
Philip?
doing, man?
Good, man. How you doing, Philip? I'll tell you what, man. I found you as a podcaster. You came on as a sponsor with Clark Travel, and I'll tell you what, man. You took off, and you're a great podcaster, man. I enjoy
Thank
your
you.
stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm hoping to be as good as you are because you're so knowledgeable of everything you talk about, everything Pittsburgh sports. It doesn't matter the sport. And for folks who don't know, you're also a singer and you performed the national anthem a couple Tuesdays ago at Highmark Stadium for the
Y-
Riverhound game,
Yeah.
their first game of the season. And JT, let me tell you, I saw one of my friends the day after, 2 days after. He's a season ticket holder. And I said, did you pay attention to the guy singing the national anthem? And Zach said, yeah, he was really good.
Oh,
And I
thank.
told him, I said, he's the one that hosts the podcast that I'm on during the Steelers season. We do the Steelers Rewind. He got real excited. He said his friends were saying you did great too.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you, man. I was take myself out of my comfort zone a couple times a year. That's one of the times I do it. So
Well, and I did watch the broadcast of it. You did a great job. You really did. You got some pipes in you, man.
I
So,
appreciate it. Appreciate it,
well,
man.
I'll tell you what, we have a big event coming up in 8 days from now. The city of Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be hosting the 2026 NFL Draft from the North Shore, outside of Acashore Stadium. And JT, you've been all over this draft. You're actually having a draft party. Before we get into what the Steelers are going to be doing, let's talk about your draft party, where it's being held, what people will get for their $20 admission, and et cetera, et cetera. Let's hear it, man.
All right, man. It's at Lucky's Bar and Grill, Lucky 13s. It goes by as well. It's in Baldwin, on Prospect Road. $20 a ticket. You get a swag bag right off the bat. You get it's a logoed bag with a towel, a koozie, a T-shirt, which I'm actually wearing the T-shirt right now. It's NFL Draft Party T-shirt, Sportsvival logo. Um, you also I dropped it from 40 to 20. I wanted to get more people in or spending some money. So we're gonna have free pizza for the first couple hours. There's gonna be a wing special, there's beer specials, or we're gonna have Chinese auctions. We're gonna have a Tony Dorsett helmet. Pay a couple bucks to get in on a ticket for that. You got Dorsett, you got a Heinz Ward helmet, then you got Ben Kindle jersey autographed, and a Jerry Jones autographed jersey. The helmets are autographed as well. The Dorsett has 76 Heisman on it. It's a yellow pit helmet. It's gorgeous with the blue face mask. We're also gonna have some baskets, door prizes too. So if your ticket, there'll be some door prizes given out. You don't have to pay nothing for that. But then there's gonna be some really nice baskets. Meineke just donated a basket tonight, and then we have like an alcohol basket. We have a tailgating basket. It's gonna be a good night. We're gonna have guys like you up there, me, Schneider, about 4 or 5 of us talking about fantasy wise, how it's gonna help the Steelers, how these drafts is gonna help. Just talking about the picks in general.
Yeah, that's going to be a great night. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope we get a great turnout. I'm sure we're going to have a very good turnout for it. So
Yeah, it's gonna be a
let's talk.
fun night. It's fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Let's talk about the draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers have 12 picks.
Yes, they
Okay,
do.
and we all know they're not going to use all 12 picks in this draft. They've got some major draft stock, and you give that to Omar Khan and his team, and they can make some big time magic. They can draft up, they can draft down. There's so many different scenarios of what the Steelers' needs are. So let's talk about the Steelers' needs. Actually, a lot of people want another young quarterback to be drafted. We need a left guard. Some people are talking defensive line. Some people are talking safety, free safety. Some people are talking about a wide receiver. So anything can happen. This is just going to be one of those drafts where it's going to be way too hard to predict. But let's just assume the Steelers sit at 21, their respective draft pick. They're when they're going to be drafting. What do you think is gonna happen with that pick?
If they stay there, man, it could go so many different ways. Like, me and my partner in Sportsvival for Draft Storm Schneider, we did our own mock draft, which is inside the my draft guide here. It's which has
Yes,
like
the
the
draft
mock draft
guide.
has like the mock draft and stuff in it. But I have them taken, and this is off the wall, but the Steelers are so off the wall. I have them taking defensive tackle Caleb Banks out of Florida. He's a big, tall, bruising defensive tackle that you can't move. And I think what it will do is it'll improve their offensive line, even their defensive line even more. You have Derek Harmon, you have him, you would have Hayward on there still. I think the defensive line, Keanu Benton. I think that line will be set for the future. Um, and with Banks, the best the Steelers have ever been on defense is when they had a guy named Casey Hampton. The
Right,
teams couldn't move him out of the way. Casey Hampton wouldn't lead your team in tackles. He wouldn't lead your team in sacks. But what he did for your linebackers was unbelievable. What he could do, he frees up the linebackers, lets them roam freely. They ain't taking on blocks. And I think with our young linebacking crew, a guy like Caleb Banks would work. It would basically set that front seven up. They'd be ready to go. So I think I'd have them taking Banks. Just to give you a little inside thing, the other guy that does the mock with me took Caleb Lomu from Utah, big tackle. So there's so many different ways they can go. And the weird thing about the Steelers when we're doing our mock drafts is um, a lot of teams, you know what they need. Like, like, okay, Niners could use a receiver. This team could use an edge rush. This team could use a defensive tackle. The Steelers have so many, and it's sad to say it because I think Khan's done a great job drafting the past couple years, getting
he
like the
has.
Joey Porters but we still have so many needs. It just shows you how depleted this team was before he took over because I thought he's had two good drafts in a row. Really good drafts.
Right.
I think Broderick Jones is the injury there is hurt, so that opens up the tackle position a little bit. You mentioned defensive back. I think cornerback might be the one position we're set at. But I think it wouldn't hurt to even go out and get a safety. Safeties are real deep in this draft. Um, I, me and you talked about it all season long wide receiver. I think Pittman helps, but I think me and you sort of agreed on it that you have two number twos now. You basically have two twos. We don't know what's going on with Roman Wilson. I like the kid when he came out of Michigan. Thought he was a tough player. Don't know if it's a Tomlin thing or if it's the kid doesn't know how to run route kind of thing. But I don't know what you got with that pick, so that might be wasted. So I think if you go first 2 or 3 rounds without a receiver, I'd be shocked.
I would be too, to be honest with you, but the way I'm looking at this is you have a whole new coaching staff, you know? Everyone knows Mike McCarthy's head coach, but the coaches he brought in are guys that have coached under him, going back to when he was at Green Bay. Some coaches that coached with him in Dallas, and obviously these are guys that he trusts, who, these position coaches who could, work very, very well with a Roman Wilson,
I'm
okay?
hoping so. I'm hoping
Yeah,
so.
and some of the young guys on defense, when you flip the coin over to the defensive side, there's just gonna be, I think, a whole new dynamic in how these guys are gonna be playing. Um, they're just gonna have to, the veterans are gonna have to learn, not so much a new system, but just a different style of coaching, a different philosophy, you know, um, and with, again, the number of picks they have and how creative they can get with those picks, trading in certain rounds, maybe, trading for a pick next year, a couple picks next year, whatever they're gonna do. I think that, this current draft class, you have a lot of talent at wide receiver. There's always talent at running back. And you hope that there's gonna be a lot of talent, at corner, at safety, whatever the case is. But actually, since I brought up, this current draft class, JT, you've been covering the draft for quite a few years now. How do you compare this year's draft class to last year, the year before, and for as long as you've been covering, the NFL draft?
This draft is the defense is way the defense is a lot stronger this year than the offense. This is one of the first years in the last couple. This is the defenses. I mean, the edge rushers are phenomenal. You can have 5 or 6 going in the first round, including probably second pick of the draft. Probably will be David Bailey, and you got Ruben Bain. You got guys at the bottom of the first round too. I got like Zion Young going to New England at 31. There's a lot of edge rushers. Cornerbacks are there, I guess the weird part about this draft too, it's not real top heavy. You don't have a ton of them stars. You're like, oh my gosh, that's like you have good corners, you have good safeties. Caleb Downs is a star, the safety from Ohio State. He's going to be a stud. Um, Arvell Reese, David Bailey, they're the guys I think that are going to be high end, but you don't have a ton of top end, but you have a ton of depth. Like even receiver, Jordan Tyson, a couple of them guys at the top, like the big receivers, they're good. They're above average. I mean, they're good. They're first round picks, but they're not. Who's the kid from Ohio State from a couple years ago? I got so many names in my head. The
I know.
the
You know, has so
Harrison.
many
Yeah,
players.
Marvin Harrison. There's not a Marvin Harrison in this draft. There's not a guy like you're saying. Oh my gosh, this is a must go get him kind of guy. But there's a lot of depth at receiver. Tight end, Sadiq is a stud. He's going to go in the top. He's going to go in the top 12 to 15, the tight end. That's it. I mean, after that, the tight ends are all pretty much bunched together, but there's some depth there. The guards are actually really good this year. The guards are starting with Vega from Penn State. You He's probably one of the better guard prospects to come out in the last 5, 6 years. Centers ain't real big this year, but there's not like that guy that you're saying, okay, this is to get this guy. He's gonna be our generational center, like a Lindenbaum or even like a Zach Frazier. There's nobody
Zach
that like
Frazier,
that. Yeah,
he's a
there's
stud.
oh he is. I mean that for a second
He's a
round pick.
stud.
And there's nobody like that really in this draft either. So the offense is really struggling. To me, the offense is really behind. The quarterbacks are one of the one of the worst we've seen since the Pickett class. That's probably the worst we've seen since the Pickett year. You're going to see Mendoza number one.
Yeah.
I have Simpson going high in the second. Schneider had him going to Cleveland in their second pick of the first round. I started laughing like Cleveland, another quarterback. But a team like Arizona will probably get their pick at number 3, whether it be a tackle or whatever they need at their. But Arizona's a team that should trade back into the first and get Simpson. They need a quarterback real bad. But you might not see a quarterback after Simpson go until the 4th round. I mean, you might not see
Right.
any third-round quarterback. So it's
The
very weak.
LSU quarterback, though, I can't remember his name. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Newsmeyer.
He's kind of impressive. I
Yeah,
watched that.
Newsmeyer might go. Newsmeyer could, a team could possibly that needs a quarterback might jump back up and say, you know, let's just get him now before they go on them runs. Like Aller's a 4th rounder in my mind, from
And he
Penn
visited
State.
the Steelers today. Was that today or yesterday?
Yeah, I guess today. Yeah, he
Yeah.
went and visited the Steelers.
Yep. That kinda shocked me, to be honest with you. You know, but he could be a totally different quarterback in the NFL than he was at Penn State. Again, it all comes down to coaching. If
I
these guys
agree.
have the talent and they're coachable and you give them a year that they need, you know, at that position, even 2 years, whatever it takes, you know, Aller could be, up to a tier 2 NFL quarterback, probably tier 3. Um, the guy from LSU could be a tier 2 quarterback. Um, I don't even know if Ty Simpson would ever be a tier 1 quarterback. And speaking of him, I was doing some research, and I mentioned this to you before we went live. Mike Renner, who is a writer for CBS Sports, and I do like how CBS Sports covers the NFL. He actually has Tampa Bay picking Awana, the guard from Penn State at 15, but he has Ty Simpson picking, being selected by the Steelers at the 21st pick,
I
which
don't
kind of
like that.
surprised me to see that. I don't think he's a first rounder, but Tom Fornelli, another writer from CBS Sports, definitely has the Steelers picking Awana from Penn State.
I would love it. I would love it, but I've seen him attached to Baltimore, and Baltimore's one of them teams. Getting back to the Steelers, I like the fact that we are that team this year with 12 picks. Baltimore's always been this team that when a guy starts to slide, Baltimore finds a way to get that guy, and Baltimore's great at it. They've been Ozzie Newsome has been back in the day. Newsome just always gets the guy that I'd be watching the draft and be like, oh man, 3 picks till we get him. I remember actually the year that Peppers came out from Michigan, the safety. That was the year we took Watt. So I was like, oh, Peppers, let's get Peppers, and he went. He ended up going to Cleveland that year. But Baltimore has a way of always getting these guys that slide on the board. Now with 12 picks, the Steelers can be that team that could uh, move up. You know, you have a guy in the third round that he slid to the third round. Hey, the Steelers got, you know, all these picks, move up and make some moves. The Steelers could be aggressive with getting the guys that they want. They have some guys on the board. I don't know how. I haven't really paid enough attention. I mean, I pay attention to the draft every year, but I don't know how McCarthy likes to. I don't know how he likes to run his drafts. Uh, I know Tomlin was at the beginning was very wasn't real aggressive, and it seemed when we got Khan on board, it seemed like that's the Steelers were aggressive. They made some trades. They went out and got guys, and I hope they keep that going. And with the 12 picks, I mean, and you made a good point off the air as well that with 12 picks, you should better set yourself up for this year and gain something for next year because the I don't think there's much after the fifth round in the draft. I don't think it's a real deep draft where like you're going to see a lot of great players in the sixth, seventh round. And some years you might have better find something. I think the Steelers would be well in tune to grab 3 or 4 picks for next year, especially. I, I wouldn't care if the Steelers sign Rodgers. You got Mason Rudolph. You got Will Howard. I don't think you draft a young quarterback in this draft. I don't think it's worth it, honestly. I think next year's draft class of quarterbacks, a lot of guys decided to come back next year. I think with the Mannings, and now you're going to see more quarterbacks fluctuate. I think I would actually be more in tune with the Steelers just getting through the year this year and grab a quarterback next year. Have the draft picks next year to maybe have a higher draft pick next year.
I think what I'm envisioning with the Steelers offense, going into the season is there's obviously a couple scenarios, but let's choose a scenario of Aaron Rodgers coming back. Okay. And this just is a conversation. It's just, bar talk, pub talk, whatever. He comes back. He's a starter. Will Howard gets another year under him, but he's going to be the number 2, in my opinion, not Mason Rudolph.
I agree.
Will he have a better offensive line? Will the offensive line be better coached? He's got Jalen Warren as his star running back, and Jalen Warren is a great blocker too, pass blocker. Okay. So if he's working with a better offensive line, Pat Freiermuth is going to get more touches. I don't know what the deal was with him and the old offensive coordinator. I mean, he's not even worth remember his name. I know his dad owned FedEx.
Yeah.
But anyway, with that said, you've got, Freiermuth. You've got that big dude, Mount Washington, Darnell Washington,
Yep.
you know. And then you've got, as you mentioned, you talked about Pittman, you talked about DK Metcalf. Drafting a wide receiver, I think, would make sense, as early as they can, outside of getting a guard or whatever their defensive line needs are. And that's where I think they can take advantage of that draft stock, and getting their immediate needs and trying to get some of the best players in those positions. I think Aaron Rodgers could hypothetically, even though he's aging, have a better season this season than last season. Okay. In that scenario, what's your opinion on that?
The offensive
Because
line's what
we always
scares
went
me.
back and forth about Aaron Rodgers last year.
Yeah, the offensive line's what scares me. I think Rodgers, if you give him the time, he's gonna be fine. I just don't know.
Right.
Roderick Jones might not. I mean, we don't know what's going on with him. He could be out long term. He could be
Might be
hurt
done for
for.
his
Yeah, he could
career.
be done. Yeah, he could be done. So I mean, that would leave you with right now Dylan Cook and Foatanu at the tackle position, with Spencer Anderson and Mason McCormick up the middle. I mean, that's not a very good offensive line with Frazier of solid center, but um, that makes the looking at this. I think the Steelers still are going to there's a June 1st cuts, tackles will get released. The Steelers are having the Rodgers kidding around or whatever he's doing with the 30 million, that we can't really afford that with the salary
No,
cap the
that's
way it is. He's not
right.
worth it for one. He's I'm not saying he's over the hill, but he's too old to pay $30 million um for what you're gonna get. Let's just I tell this to the fans, and I know I hate to say this, but right now in Pittsburgh, Steelers are the third best team in Pittsburgh right now. People aren't gonna believe me when oh come on man, but they're not. Penguins are a playoff team. The Pirates are gonna be a playoff team. I'm marking it down. The Pirates are that good. The Steelers are struggling, man. Until they find that young quarterback, and I agree with you. Will Howard's got to be quarterback too. And he got to. I'm hoping that McCarthy's a quarterback. I'm hoping he sees something in him, in exhibition or preseason, and maybe he says, you know what, we're handing him the reins. And that's why I think given you can't give a guy $30 million because then you're stuck with you got to play him. Um,
Well, and it's funny because the naysayers will be like, "Well, why did he fall to the 6th round?" Well, guess who else was drafted in the 6th round?
yeah, the best
Tom Brady.
quarterback of yeah. I mean
And
that's
he's the GOAT. I don't care what anyone says, he is the GOAT. You gotta hand it to him. 7
you
Super
can't
Bowls.
argue it. Yeah, you can't
No, you
argue
can't.
with that. I
You
don't
can
like the
talk
guy
about
personally. I
you can talk about all this stuff. He's still, the best quarterback who's ever played in the NFL. I
there's
never
no
thought I would
doubt.
ever say that, but I have to be truthful.
He goes to a Tampa Bay team and wins a Super Bowl right off the bat
Right,
there. So he just, he
right.
just he proves that he's. And I hate him. I don't like the guy personally, but hey, you can't deny facts.
No, you
He's the
can't.
best. He's the best quarterback that's ever played the game. It's not even close. It's a battle for who's second after that. So, um,
Yeah.
I think. Looking at their depth chart right now, it's scary. It's very scary. I think Rico Dowdle is a decent pickup, but we saw what we got with Gainwell last year, man. Gainwell he was the MVP of that team. There's no doubt, and what he did on offense last year was crazy. He kept drives going. He was everything on our offense last year. If you take Gainwell out of that offense, you lose 3 wins right off
Hurts
the
the
bat.
Steelers a lot because he was so versatile. Ended up being their wide receiver 1 almost.
But yeah, he was.
I
Uh,
mean, his
I'm
his
hoping it's
last
a
said what he did, he gained well,
yes, he
because
did.
he was a good running back and he was good wide receiver. He was just 1 and 1A, Jalen Warren and Kevin Gainwell, no question.
I'm hoping a lot of the young guys were just the way Tomlin does stuff because I think Caleb Johnson still has talent. I do. I think Caleb Johnson was a hell of a running back at Iowa. I think he has the potential. I love the Roman Wilson at Michigan. I don't know if what happened to him here, but like you said before, we got a new coach in town, and we've seen this happen with other Pittsburgh teams. Mike Sullivan was known for just destroying young hockey players. Never got a chance with him. Um, It's never, he just certain coaches got their veterans. They want what they got. They don't want to, unless it's a young guy's a first round or second round pick, they're not going to have a chance to really make their mark. I'm hoping we see Derek Harmon healthy this year. That defensive line could be one of the better defensive lines in football, honestly. Um, I love Keanu Benton. Um, I think TJ Watt's got to take a step forward this year. I think he's got to prove to people that, he's back. He's taken a couple steps back here the last couple years. He's getting double teamed though, and I got to give Alex Highsmith credit because me and you talked about it during the season. He stepped up last year. He did his job. Came in
Highsmith really impressed me as the season went along, and, you still have Herbig too, okay?
on
And
Herbig's
I
a
think
stud.
he's not getting traded, he's staying in Pittsburgh, but we talked about this a lot last year with TJ Watt. He was always playing on the left side. He never moved around, he never came in from the middle, he never came in from the right, and you saw that with other edge rushers, you know, um,
Miles
the
Garrett,
Myles Garrett and, the guy that got traded to Green Bay, Micah, what's his name?
Micah Parsons. Yeah, they
Yeah,
line
Micah
up everywhere.
Parsons,
So your
you
offensive
know?
line has to call out where the guy is. It changes everything every play. It makes it a difficult, especially a young offensive line going against a Steeler team would be. We would have a big advantage because like where's TJ? Where's TJ? Then you're changing your double teams. You're changing everything. The rumor I heard, and you know, being close to a couple of media guys, they said he's the one that doesn't wanna do it. He's the one that doesn't wanna.
Yeah.
I don't know if how true it is. It sorta makes sense because I can't see a defensive coordinator anywhere that would be like, "Yeah, let's just put you on one spot and let you sit there." I mean,
I would wanna move him around and talk him into it. He has nothing to lose, you know? I mean, he's it sounds like if that's true, that rumor, he's just being very stubborn, or maybe he didn't trust the past coaching staff. I don't know. But, I'm putting all my eggs in one basket with his coaching staff for the 2026 season. We have to, okay?
I'm
I
hoping.
mean,
I'm hoping. I hope they. I mean, it's hard to see this team as anything more than a the 9-8, 10 and s not 9-8, 10-7 thing that we've seen the past. I mean, even with I like Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers proved me wrong last year,
he
in
did.
ways because he was
He did wrong.
he was a tough old guy. He seemed like he was having fun. He didn't blow any games. I thought he was, he for what the time he got in that offensive line, I just fear that the offensive line's actually worse this year, not better, because we lost, Samalu in the middle. We got a Broderick Jones who doesn't know what we're gonna get. So, I mean, I actually think we're worse than last year right now on paper. So they gotta fix that problem.
I'm sure they will. I'm not worried about that now, but it is something to worry about, okay? And I just see I have it envisioned that they're not gonna ignore the left side of the line. And of course, I think Mason McCormick's not that bad. I think, again, better coaching, better coaching, better coaching. Mike Tomlin had a minimal number of assistant coaches. Mike McCarthy hired more coaches. He's got more coaches on his staff than Tomlin did. And he's got more specialists actually, on his coaching staff. We have to put a lot of credence into that. And like I said a minute ago, I'm putting all my eggs in one basket with Mike McCarthy and that coaching staff to at least make sure they get into the playoffs, okay, and go as far as they can in the playoffs. Because I'm curious to see what Baltimore's gonna do with their new coach, okay, and how they're gonna perform. Um, Cleveland, new coach. I'm curious to see how they're gonna do. And then Cincinnati kept their current coaching staff. They still have the worst defense. I don't see them improving their defense much at all. But, you got a healthy number 9, at quarterback,
Yeah, I mean,
lethal,
yeah,
So it
Joe Burrow is. I mean, Joe Burrow, and they got a couple nice receivers. That's about what they got going. And I do have 3 picks in the draft. If I was a gambler, which I might still do this, there's 3 picks I think are guaranteed. And that's Mendoza's the easy one, of course.
yeah,
He's going to Las Vegas. My other 2 are, Caleb Downs going to Cincinnati at number 10. I think it's if Cincinnati passes on that, they're insane. I think Caleb Downs will be there at 10. He's the best safety to come out in the last several years, and he's a game changer that improves their secondary right off the bat. And then the other one is, I do think Vega's going to Baltimore. That's my 3. I might put a little parlay, see if it works. Do a little $5 thing at the casino maybe before the draft. I'll be down at the Pirate game Sunday. Throw it up there if they do a little parlay. But I think it's a 3 picks I'm gonna go with. I think that I think the Caleb Downs one, I just think Cincinnati, like you said, they need to draft 5 defensive players in a row. Go with it. Hope you get one of them windfalls at defense, and you draft a real good defensive year like some teams do every once in a while. But they got to, because I mean, if you get a healthy Burrow putting up 40 points and you're losing 42-40, whatever they were losing a couple years ago, whenever he was healthy all year, they can't be doing that.
right.
Our division's open. I mean, you have to admit our division's there. If a team makes a big enough improvement this offseason, they could take his division. I don't think Baltimore by any means is guaranteed the best team in our division. I don't think there's one team that you're gonna look at and say they should win the division. So I think Steelers do the right things, they pull the right chord. I think they could win a division. There's no doubt about it. It just they got a lot of holes. I think they got more holes than any other team in our division.
Well, I was just looking at some of the different sites here while you were talking, and regarding Caleb Downs, um, Mel Kiper, I'm not saying this guy, I think he's a jerk. Um, but he has the New York Giants taking Caleb Downs number 5.
Oof.
And then one of the writers for NBC Sports has Caleb Downs going to Washington with their 7th pick. So if he happens to drop down to 10, you're right. I mean, they would be crazy not to go after Caleb Downs, you know.
I mean, I can see both of that happening. I'd have to go back into my mock real quick, but I can't. I changed a couple things on the Giants, but the Giants have they're sort of like the Steelers, except for the fact that they do got their young quarterback, and that's the fact that I think that's the part that hurts as a Steeler fan right now. We just don't have that. Having been all them years, you don't realize how much of a you don't mi- you forget about how nice it is just knowing who your quarterback is year in and year out, and not worrying about yeah the best position. I have the Giants taking Sonny Styles, the linebacker from Ohio State.
Okay.
And then I have Washington taking Ruben Bain, who, I guess some stuff's coming out on Ruben Bain lately about, his problems he had a couple years ago driving, recklessly, killed a passenger in his car.
Right.
But I guess everybody knew about that already, even going into his senior year. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun talking to you at the draft party, man, because we're gonna be going back and forth. I have you as being my Steeler guy, plus just talking about each draft pick with me and Schneider, and we have a couple guys out there from my Rockin' Renegades. We'll talk fantasy, what fantasy guys to look at. And this year's, like I said, the offense isn't quite there this year. I think Mendoza is going to be a fine quarterback. I think it's going to take him a little bit. I don't think he's going to be an overnight sensation, especially with the Raiders. But you have to admit, man, aren't the Raiders building something? Mendoza, you got the kid, the, Ashton Genty, and then you got the Brock Powers. I mean, you talk about a young offense that could be potentially lethal down the road. I mean, it's a nice
The
start for
Raiders are
them.
gonna be the most improved team in the NFL, there's no question about that. The head coach, who they got from Seattle, this guy came in on fire, and they took full advantage of the free agency. They lost out in trading, Max Crosby, because that whole deal fell apart, but other than that, I mean, they really stacked their lineup with good veterans and covered some positions they were deeply in need of, and then after they draft Mendoza 1st overall, I mean, if they have a great team of, personnel, front office, along with, who they hired as their head coach. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, of course.
Clint
I don't
Clint
names anymore.
Clint Kubiak.
That's right, Kubiak. Um, the Vegas Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders could be really, really tough, but that's gonna be they'll just make that division even tougher.
Yeah, that division's taking over as like the best in football. 'Cause I mean, for the longest time, it's been the AFC North, because you always had the three teams at the top always battling for the most part. But I think the West, man, because Denver proved last year. KC took a sort of a step back, but they're trying to re-up it now. They have 2 first-round picks this year. Don't forget that. Even though they gave up Trent McDuffie to get that second one, so one of them picks are probably gonna be a cornerback. Um, but you got the Chargers, who I still think having Jim Harbaugh as your coach, and I think he's been adding pieces every year. They're getting good, and you got the Raiders. I mean, that's a good solid division, man. It's a
It's
division you don't want
similar
to
to
be.
what
Will
my
be
wife's a big Raiders fan. She loves the Steelers, but the Raiders are her second team.
gotta
I
have a
know
second
she'll be
team. You
real
gotta have
excited.
a second team. My second team's always been the Niners when I was a kid, but then I changed it over to the Cardinals because of Larry Fitz. So I'm gonna keep the Cardinals for right now as my second team.
Okay.
I love Larry Fitzgerald. It was bittersweet beating him in the Super Bowl, and he had a great game. He would have been the MVP in the Super Bowl if the Steelers didn't hold on to that. So it was like a perfect. I got to watch him have a big game and watch the Steelers win. So that was a bittersweet day for me.
I'm torn with my second team being the Cowboys or the Ravens. No, I'm just joking.
Oh man, I was like, man, I gotta
Oh,
have to talk to you at the party about that,
say
man.
that. I had to say that. No, my second team legitimately is the Green Bay Packers. You know, and if Kraft didn't get hurt
I've
mid-season,
I've always liked
you
them.
saw what they did to the Steelers. You
Oh,
know, that Sunday night game when the Steelers wore their horde uniforms.
oh,
Um, they'll never do that again, I hope.
the Packers are a
Um,
team that never bothered me. Like
no.
there's teams that don't bother me. Like the Niners never bothered me. The Packers have never bothered me. The Cowboys have always bothered me.
Oh, of
Um,
course.
like teams like the
Of course.
Bills. The Bills, I sort of have like a soft spot in my heart. I want them to win. Just win a Super Bowl. Especially, I like Josh Allen. I went through the 4 years of Marv Levy losing 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
I want them. I want the Bills just to. Their fans seem ruckus like ours, but they seem to be very good-hearted people. You've read stories about the Bills the fans that have given money to different things and like teams that something happened to a player. They've been very generous. So I want to see the Bills win one here. Um,
They're my 3rd team. I like the Bills. I certainly
do it in the next year or two though before we get our quarterback, and then I gotta say, I don't think the Steelers are Super Bowl contender yet. Do it next year, Bills. I'll give you next year as your last
they
year
got
to
that
do it.
beautiful new stadium they're moving into.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah,
crazy from what I heard about how they're building it with the
yeah,
different winds and stuff. But
yeah, yeah. It looks really nice. I know that much. Well, it's new, but it's gonna be a lot better. I don't know if you ever been inside Highmark Stadium up in Buffalo or not.
no,
I went to the 2008 Winter Classic.
that'd be
Oh, it was phenomenal. You
best
know,
one ever.
walking inside the corridors, I felt like I was at Pitt Stadium. I mean, and Pitt Stadium was built, what, in the 20s or 30s. Uh,
Yeah,
but, back when it was called Rich Stadium, they built that in the early 70s. And to be honest with you, I saw a Steelers Cowboys game in Dallas in 2004 inside the old Texas Stadium. It always looked great on TV. I was expecting this beautiful stadium. And it was the same thing, that opened in 1971, and it was, like, really junky inside, I mean, Three River Stadium was a lot nicer walking inside around the concourse areas
it
than it
was
was
big,
at
a little bit
Stadium
big.
at the old Highmark Stadium in Buffalo, 100 times better. And Three River Stadium wasn't that obviously, it was a cookie cutter stadium, it wasn't a great place, you know, but it was great
No,
because of all the history and everything that happened
I
there.
do. There's a part of me that misses. I had a car stolen there once, so I do miss. I just miss the. It's just one of them places, man. I miss watching. I got to watch Barry Bonds play for the Pirates, or I got to watch, um, some big Steeler games there.
Yeah.
I got to watch some good stuff at the new stadiums though already too though. So it's nice. We're lucky. We don't realize how lucky we are in
We're
Pittsburgh.
spoiled.
Honestly,
That's why.
we
We're
are.
spo Hey, I got the 1970 to 75 Pirates hat on, and for people who don't realize this, and probably a lot of people don't realize this, opening night at Three River Stadium, July 16, 1970, the Pirates came out wearing their traditional black hats with the vests during warm-ups, batting practice, and all that. And then at game time, they came out with these magical new uniforms, the gold mustard gold
I
hat
love it.
right here,
I
the
love it,
pullover
man.
jersey, the elastic waistband, and these funky new socks with that mustard gold in them. I mean, I love that hat too, and that's
That's
got that mustard gold,
that's their whatchamacallit, it's one of the 2, but
the
it's one of
city
their,
collection hat.
yeah, the
Yep,
city
beautiful.
love it. I got both of them. I got this one and I got the,
And you
one
got
that
the mustard
the
gold
color
one?
yeah, the mustard gold one.
Yeah. So, and then the Pirates were innovators because, they were the first to wear those types of uniforms. They had the all-minority lineup on, September 1, 1971. Clemente hit his 3,000th hit in 19 September 1972 before the 72 playoffs. That was the last time we'd ever see him. He had the immaculate reception,
Yeah.
December 23rd, 1972. I mean, Three River Stadium just, had so many great moments just in his first couple years as a stadium. and then they continued on, with We Are Family with the Pirates, 4 Super Bowl rings with the Steelers.
Yeah.
I mean, the Pirates run in the early '90s, I mean, there was just I do miss the place, but it was a cookie cutter stadium, it was falling apart. It was just
But
a
yeah.
concrete slab.
You couldn't tell if you saw from the overview, you wouldn't know if it was Riverfront, if it was Veterans, they all looked the same back then. It just
And
looked
I've
the
been to
same.
Veterans Stadium, I saw the Phillies play there. I didn't know if I was in Three Rivers or Veterans.
Yep,
That's
it's the
about
same thing.
To be honest with you, I had to look at the color seats to remind me I was in Philadelphia. But, I'll tell you what, any closing thoughts, JT?
No, I had a great time, man. I'm glad to see you, taking this and going with it, man. You were like I said, just one day you texted me, you said, "Hey, we should do a Steeler podcast," and we did it all year. I had fun doing it, and you,
It was a blast.
you
Can't wait
took you
for it
took
to
us,
finish
and
one.
I enjoy this is the best part of Sportsvival is the people I've met, which is like the guys that
Mhm.
I've got to do podcasts with and stuff, and that's what's fun for me. I love writing, I love doing my articles, and if you're into out there, get on www.sportsvival.com. Right now, I just did my pick 32 article, so I have all 32 picks to article each team, what they need in the offseason, what they did. I got hockey players on there, I got basketball draft. It's all 4 sports. I love the draft, so
I'm real impressed with what you're doing with the hockey draft. All the research you're doing with, the junior leagues in Canada and also with the college players. I mean, you're really, like, spot on with this stuff. And folks, I'm telling you right now, JT knows his stuff. If you're looking for really good content that, is not coming from your paid media, local media, JT's your guy, okay?
I
He
appreciate
covers it
that.
all well. His writing is excellent. Um, he covers, each team. He does it with his knowledge, he does it with his heart, and he's really into it, and he's good at it. So, definitely start following Sportsvival, follow his YouTube channel, follow his website. He's doing so much, and you're killing it with the graphics game too. I like what you're doing with the your graphics for the NFL draft and what you're doing with the logos and stuff.
Oh,
Super
thanks.
cool
Yeah, I've
stuff.
been I've been messing around with like for each team's pick. I just did the Seahawks day. It's pretty cool looking, the little
Yeah.
Seahawk flying with the ball over the stadium.
My favorite one was the Dolphins, I think. That was a cool one.
Oh, the dolphin, yeah, under the water for the draft.
Yep,
I like that too. But
yep.
yeah, I'm been trying to do more things, and like I said, I want it to be a good site for people to come on and get some information.
It's good. And if it wasn't, I'd be like, who's this JT guy?" You know? But you're
Uh,
you're killing it, and you're great at it. So, again, aside from following Sportsvival, we've got Lucky 13s on what's the name of the street off of 51 in Bal
Prospect Road in Baldwin, right before Streets Run Road down there. Before, like, you're going the back way to Century 3 Mall for people that
There
know
you
that area.
go, yeah. And what time do the doors open for the draft next Thursday?
6:30 they open, and you can stay as long as you want. Probably the draft should be over this year, probably around 11:15, not the
Right.
usual midnight because it's 8 minutes, not 10 minutes. So that'll cut off what 64 minutes right there. So
Yeah, and then his draft guide is for sale on sportsvival.com as well. If you wanna, pick up what JT's been writing about and all the other guys he works with, it's only $10, so you gotta go for it.
thank you,
Okay,
man.
JT, I'll see you next Thursday at Lucky 13's. I'm bringing 2 high school friends with me. They're coming, Mike Merriam and
I
Dave
can't.
Dan, guys I've known since 1st grade for 50 years, showing our age from elementary, Montour School District. And, Pirates are playing great. We're gonna be talking Pirates ball
Heck
and
yeah.
and the Pens in the playoffs. I'm just gonna tell you right now, Pens in 6.
I like it, man. I just like the fact that every other day now coming up, we're gonna better watch playoff hockey. I haven't missed doing that, so
Pens in 6.
I
And
like it.
Pirates are gonna win at least 84 games, maybe more than 84,
I
and
think
hopefully
I'm going with 90 right now with this team. They
alright.
stay
I
healthy.
like it. I like it. Okay, my man.
All
Great
right, thank
seeing
you.
you.
Thank you very
You were
much, man.
coming hot from the lids inside a steel mill, my man. You really
Haha.
were. You
Thank you
really
very
were.
much.
Okay, you have yourself a good night, and thank you to everybody who watched this evening. Thank you for coming to Phil's place, and hope to see you again soon. All right, take care. Have a good night. Bye-bye.